If you're already following the 2025 marketing playbook, you're already falling behind. The smartest brands are adapting to these new trends right now, and by the end of this video, you will be too. By the way, this video is sponsored by Picsart, more on them later. All right, the first trend I'm calling search everywhere optimization. See what I did there? Instead of search engine optimization, I replaced engine with everywhere, not just a hat rack. What this trend is referring to is the fact that people no longer just Google it. Right? Do you remember when that was a thing? Everyone would just be like, I'm just going to Google it. That has become less and less of a thing. Now, I'm pretty sure you've heard me or some other marketer tell you that actually a lot of young people use TikTok to search for things nowadays. So you've probably already had an inkling that this change has been coming for a while. But now we're kind of moving on to the next wave of this trend, where it's not just that people use social media to search for things, but they're also searching through things through different media types. So now they're using images to search. They're using voice to search. And as I just mentioned, they're using social media channels to search. I would love to know from you guys in the comments if you are starting to use different media formats to search, because I personally have been doing this for a while. I will often search for things using images nowadays because various image search engines, even Google's image search engine, is so powerful. But also I use AI chatbots like ChatGPT to search, and I actually dictate to them. So a lot of you guys may not know this about me, but I spend half of my day speaking to my laptop. I sound ridiculous, but as I'm sure you can tell from my content, I am someone who much prefers speaking than writing. So therefore, I will use my chatbot and I will dictate to it, and I'll just speak out loud, and it will turn that into an email for me, for example, right? So I've actually been using different media formats to search for a while without actually realizing that it's a huge signal of a seismic shift when it comes to how we optimize our content for search. Which brings me on to our tip, because yes, with every single trend, I'm going to be telling you a pro tip for you to utilize this trend for your own marketing. The tip here is that you need to start thinking about how your content can be optimized for this new wave of search. Let me give you some examples. To optimize your social media content for search, you want to pay extra attention to things like your captions, making sure that they're describing your content well, and also to the content itself. You want to make sure that a key part of your social media strategy involves you sharing content that answers a very commonly asked question. That's one of the best ways for you to get traffic from social search. If you upload a video being like, here's how you can keep your plants alive in winter, that's going to increase the chances of your video appearing when someone searches, how do you keep your plants alive in winter? I'm that someone. I have never gone through a winter season with all of my plants making it. For optimizing your content for image search, it's about using the alt text feature as and when it's available. You can even use this on social media, ensuring that you've got accurate tagging depending on where you're sharing that content, and making sure that your file name is actually optimized for search. So you're not just naming it file 2, file 3, file 4. Why didn't I go file 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't know. You're not just naming it those generic names. You're actually describing the image in the image file name. So if the image is of a girl standing by a tree, you're going to call the image a girl standing by a tree, right? And then to optimize your content for voice search, you want to ensure that your content answers questions directly, it uses natural phrasing, and you're actually including keywords in the actual content itself. So the words that you're saying actually reflect what your content is about. Got it? Good. Let's move on to the next trend. I love this one, and you'll understand why I love it in just a moment. This trend is that long form content is making a comeback. Now, did it ever really die? Obviously not, because I've been yapping on here for 5 years now and people seem to watch it. But there was a time when short form was king or queen, and now long form is coming back to steal that crown. The truth is, the rise of short form was very much driven by younger generations such as Gen Z. However, Gen Z's viewing habits have shifted slightly, and they're now starting to engage with longer form content such as YouTube videos. Shout out to any Gen Z watching this one. And podcasts and even blogs. I think the blogs thing is largely driven by sites like Substack starting to get a lot of traction, because people are now starting to fall back in love with the art of like reading someone else's work, which is honestly something that I think was lost for a little while there. People want depth, they want trust, they want connection more so than ever before. So people are growing ever so slightly tired with the endless scrolling, and every now and then they just want to sit down and consume. Please do not take this trend to mean that short form is dead. Notice that I didn't say that short form's dying. I just said that long form's making a comeback. Short form is not going anywhere. There is a time and place for it. It's just that people are starting to enjoy and appreciate the mixture of formats more than they were before. And I obviously love this trend because I love to chat. So I love that long form is making a comeback because that is my bread and butter. My pro tip here, and this is specifically for anyone who's been putting a lot of energy into their short form and they hear this trend and they're a bit like, don't panic. What I want you to do is do some quick analysis of your short form content content from the last 6 months. Find the short form videos that have performed the best for you, figure out what that short form video was about, and create a long form, deep dive version of that video for those who want to consume that format. Maybe you want to do a long form video on YouTube. Maybe you want to turn it into a blog post. Maybe it's for your Substack. Maybe it's a podcast episode. Maybe it's a newsletter. Whatever format works for you, try and find a way to deep dive that topic from your most popular short forms and present it in a longer form format, just to see if people respond well for it, and also just to give people who want longer form content a way to consume that from you. The third trend is about people leveling up their content, okay? We all know that AI is here. I've already spoken about it in this video, and spoiler alert, I'm going to speak about it again. AI is here, and one of the main ways that good creators, in my opinion, are using it is not to replace content completely, but to enhance the content they're creating, right? They're using it to produce higher quality content quickly and efficiently. And one of the ways that a lot of creators are doing this is by using one of the many AI tools available to you inside of Picsart. Let me show you a quick demo of just some of these tools. So one of the first tools I want to show you is the AI animation tool. Essentially what this does is it allows you to add an animation to your photo utilizing AI, so you can rest assured that the output is super high quality and also relevant to the photo itself. Let's take this example. This is a product photo because I wanted to show you what it would look like if you were a brand owner who sold a product. Let's say you sell a beauty product like the one on the screen. And let's say you wanted to add some je ne sais quoi. I don't think I've ever said that out loud before, so I hope I pronounced that correctly, to this piece of content, right? All you have to do is click on the AI animation button and tweak the settings to ensure that the output works for you. So you might want to provide some context and include like a prompt here so that Picsart understands what it's about. You can choose a AI model, which will impact what the end result will look like. There's an option for some advanced settings here, so the duration of the animation, a voiceover, the ratio of your content, etc. And then you just have to hit the generate button, and just like that, you'll see a brand new animation added to your piece of content. And I think this one makes this post look so much more interesting and so much more effective. Another feature that you might want to use to level up your content game is the scene maker feature. This basically allows you to remove the background from your photos, a tool that I use religiously throughout all of my content, but it takes it one step further by actually suggesting different scenes to replace your background with, right? So here you can see this is one of my headshots that I use quite often, and it's providing me with a bunch of different backdrops that I might want to use for my headshot. But you can use this for other uses as well, such as your product photography. Now, because these features are driven by AI, they literally take seconds for you to use. So you can massively enhance the quality of your content and generally level up to match the playing fields of a lot of the content that other brands are currently sharing right now in just a few clicks when you use Picsart. If you want to get started with Picsart, head to the link in my description. Trend number 4, the rise of EGC. That's right, not UGC, EGC. EGC is employee generated content. What this basically is referring to is the fact that more brands are getting their employees to be the face of their social media channels, and they're giving them the ability to create content for the brand's socials. Now, I do want to take a caveat to say that if a brand is going to do this, I think they should either do it because an employee really, really wants to do it, like they volunteered, this is within their job spec, or they pay their employees a little bit more in order to do this content creation. Because take it from me, content creation is a job. It's a lot of work. So I don't think brands should take this trend as a sign to start getting all of their employees to start creating content on top of the work that they're already contracted to do. That is not the suggestion here. The suggestion is to see if you can identify some people within your business who might be up for creating content for your brand's channels. Make sure you reimburse them fairly. The reason why this trend is growing so quickly is because audiences want to see real people on brand social media channels. Seeing real faces is how they connect with the brand. It's how they humanize the brand. And usually that will translate to things like brand loyalty and sales. So by championing your employees and getting them to share content, again, in a fair way, you'll be humanizing your brand and also helping it to appear a lot more relatable. A pro tip here, if you're going to work with your employees to do this, not only to pay them fairly for it, but also to encourage authenticity when it comes to the content creation. Try and give them a prompt or a rough brief. Don't dictate what they need to create, because otherwise you lose the entire essence as to why this form of marketing works. Okay, trend number 5. I said I'd talk about AI again, and here we are, but potentially talking about it in a way that might surprise you. This trend is called When AI Goes Wrong, the demand for human-led content. Yes, this is one of the longer titles I've had for a trend. I am aware. Whilst the brands who are seeing the most success in their digital marketing at the moment are the ones who are utilizing AI to enhance their content and also to make the content creation process a lot more efficient, the ones who are not seeing success are the ones who are using AI to replace their content creation completely. As I just mentioned in the previous trend, people like authenticity. They like to see humans, they like to see human stories and experiences. They like to see content that has been generated and led by a human. So if you hand over the entire creative process, so we're talking ideation, creation, even quality assurance. If you hand all of that over to AI, you will be losing out on a key component, which is the human experience. Always remember that unfiltered content builds trust faster than a perfect campaign. My pro tip here is to use AI for support. So use it to enhance your content. For example, the tools that I shared previously. Use it as a way to speed up your workflows. Do not use it as a way to replace humans entirely. Speaking of using AI to speed up your content creation process, I recommend watching this video next because it's a full tutorial on how you can use AI tools to help you edit quickly and efficiently. Again, not replace the content itself, but help you edit the content that you've created. Don't forget that you can get started with Picsart by heading to the link in my description. Thank you so much for watching as always. I can't wait to see you in my next video.